subpoenaed by Sheila Harris-Young versus Alex Studer and Alex Studer versus Sheila Harris-Young. So if Sheila Harris-Young will take the seat the council table close to the jury box, and Mr. Studer will proceed closest to where our deputy sits. So I have asked the parties in the last go around to file any police reports, and Mr. Studer actually had filed a police report at the last hearing, which Ms. Harris-Young had not seen, so I ordered that a copy of that be given. Ms. Sheila Harris-Young did have a police report with her last time, which I asked be filed and given the copy to Mr. Studer. Then there were a number of CAD reports and call-outs to the location, which I reviewed. And you've been in court twice now, and so I'm not going to be spending a lot of time with you folks. I'm going to let you summarize what you think the evidence shows. I'm going to give each of you 5 minutes, and then I'm going to make a decision because you've already taken up substantial amounts of time at the 2 other hearings. So you go ahead, Ms. Harris-Young, and then I'll have Mr. Studer. So go ahead and tell me why, based upon everything now, I should issue this restraining order.
Good morning, Your Honor. I think you should issue a restraining order on the evidence that I did submit to you. As late as 11/20/13, I had seen Mr. Studer in front of my place of business at 5:30 in the morning as I was there opening up to start vaping. That was even once the TRO was in place. The initial one that I filed, the police didn't have it in the computer as him being served, and I submitted that as well to you with the emergency response.
Ms. Harris-Young, let me say something. In your moving papers, you never stated in there that Mr. Studer was working as a caregiver and he lived in the building. He always said that he was living in his van. He had no legal rights to be there. But it appears that you should have checked the box in your petition that Mr. Studer would be able to go to work and go to his home, and that this 50-yard restriction would not prevent him from doing so. And that appears to me to be a substantial misrepresentation to the court, because from all the documents Mr. Studer has filed, he does live there, and that's where he works. So go ahead.
As far as that's concerned, Your Honor, I work like 3 days a week volunteering with the homeless, and it came to my attention just last night that the person that he had filed this false report and asked to say he's a caregiver and resides there, by behavior alone, he has lived in that RV over 10 years. I have a witness with me today who spoke with Pepe and Doris. He is not their caregiver, and he does not live at 2101 Post. I mean, he lives in the RV. It's known to me and it's known to the community. It's known to the police. So that I am not representing, I'm just telling you what the behavior has been, is that he resides in there.
Okay, and even if he does, that's something for another division or department to rule upon. I don't make decisions on whether people who have RVs and whether they can park them where they can in the city and live in them or not. That's not part of my jurisdiction.
But a part of your jurisdiction, wouldn't it be that if he submitted a false accusation against me doing some damage to his motorcycle, which was not true? I'm sure I submitted that information to you, stating, showing you my day planner, what I did that entire day with my declarations. I did not do anything to harm anything that belongs to Mr. Studer or anything of the like.
Okay. Well, you have presented evidence tending to show that you didn't commit the damage to Mr. Studer's motorcycle, but that doesn't mean that he made false allegations.
Well, the woman he had, right?
His caretaker did. Just
yes.
Means there is a conflict in the evidence.
Well, it's a conflict of evidence, but
Just like you don't have any eyewitness saying that he vandalized your cookie shop. Nobody saw Mr. Studer vandalize your cookie shop. You have your daughter who said she looked out the window and saw him on his motorcycle, but you have no eyewitness showing Mr. Studer did that, and he has filed declarations and give a testimony that he didn't do that. Once again, there's a substantial conflict in the evidence. But
Well, there's no conflict of evidence for him stalking me. There's no conflict of evidence in him harassing me and my daughter. That has been shown. We have pictures of it. I have submitted those pictures to you and declarations. Now, recently, the latest has been he's moved the RV off of our neighborhood, which is a blessing, and we're all very, very happy in the neighborhood about this. But I just want him to stay away from my shop and stay away from my daughter and I. I don't want him to come out looking at me, walking step by step, grimacing, posturing, saying making belligerent, threatening statements to me, because I just don't want that to happen anymore. And I want you to please either just tell him to stay away from us. We didn't even want to waste this kind of court time coming down here. I don't have this kind of time, Your Honor, to come down here. I have a business. I don't have this kind of time. I just want it resolved.
Well, I'm sure Mr. Studer doesn't enjoy coming down here either, spending all his time. So, are you through, Ms. Harris-Young? I can turn to Mr. Studer.
I'm through. Yes, okay. I'm through.
Mr. Studer?
Your Honor, Sheila Harris-Young has lied to me and to the court repeatedly. She submitted paperwork outlining, and I quote, that she is the self-appointed head of a committee to remove me from the neighborhood. She has absolutely no right to do so. She's filed false allegations that I have been stalking her, claiming that I threw feces, none of which are true. This is not about any stalking activity at all. I have no idea. And until she dragged me into your courtroom, I really didn't even know who she was. She is suffering paranoid delusions and has probably seen one too many episodes of Breaking Bad. Now, because I own a motorhome, this has become the issue for her. And I don't know what gives her the right to be the queen of the neighborhood so as to oust me from it. But there is absolutely no reason why I should be made to stay away from anyone or any business for any reason. I've done no one any harm.
Okay. Well, my decision now, after 3 hearings based on the evidence I have, is I'm denying the request for permanent restraining orders that each of you want against the other. So I'm denying your request, Ms. Harris-Young, and your request, Mr. Studer. I'm dissolving any temporary restraining orders. I'm dismissing your respective cases with prejudice. I recognize, Ms. Studer, you still live and work in the same neighborhood?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And Ms. Harris-Young mentioned she still has her cookie shop on there. Mr. Studer, do you have any intentions of engaging in contact or conversation with Ms. Harris-Young?
Certainly not.
Okay, because you know that she doesn't care to have anything to do with you. She thinks that you're interested in her, stalking her, et cetera, but you're telling me that you have no interest in being near her or her daughter or her cookie shop, correct?
No, sir. However, I do sometimes do laundry in a facility which happens to be somewhat close to where she happens to have her cookie shop. I don't like going there, but sometimes I just have to.
Okay. Well, when you do go there, do your laundry. What I'm going to ask you to do is that, first of all, not have any contact with Ms. Harris-Young or her daughter. If you happen to see them, just pretend that they don't exist. Don't make any gestures. Don't say anything to them. Don't do anything that they would think that somehow you're being mean-spirited or you're trying to, give them a reason to fear you or do something. And I just asked the two of you, if you live in the same neighborhood, work in the same neighborhood, you need to be civil and respectful to each other. And if being civil and respectful is essentially not having anything to do with each other, then that's probably the way it's going to have to be. So thank you for all of
I wanted to ask you, do you have a copy of a lease that shows that he lives and works there? Because it seems like you're taking that as a fact.
I am. He testified to it, just like I took a lot of things, quote, as fact that you testified to or wrote in your papers. And I got to mention at the outset here that there's something you put in your papers that I thought was
Because I've already
misrepresentative of the situation. But I have made my decision, and I'm going to move on to these other cases. You know I have a full
Yes, I do,
calendar
and
this
I thank
morning.
you.
Thank you.
Excuse me, Your Honor.
Line 6 is the next one.